If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Sunday morning. With us today is Senator James Lankford from the great state of Oklahoma and Middle America. Well, Senator, there's so many things going on in our country. How deep is the swamp in Washington? It's just so many things. Where would you like to start this Sunday morning? I mean, people are sitting around waiting to hear where the heck are we going from here on?
Well, I would tell you, good Sunday morning to you. There are a lot of good things that are still happening across the country right now, and the news is always dark and bleak. But I would tell you, there are Americans getting up, getting time with their families today, getting ready for work, doing things that Americans can do to be able to make their family better and their nation stronger. So those things are still happening. In spite of a government shutdown, somehow the country is still running, and people are still engaged in trying to be able to do good things. But we are in the middle of a government shutdown. Democrats have voted 10 times to not reopen the government. So we're going to continue to be able to press to say we've got to be able to have a functioning government. I don't want to be France at this point. If you're following the French elections, they can't seem to keep their government functioning over there. We're not France. We're the United States of America, the most powerful nation in the world. And we've got to be able to figure this out and get some Democrats to come to the table.
Absolutely. Is there any, do you see, I mean, the Democrats usually get 100% participation. Is there any break in their, is any common sense Democrats left?
Yeah, there has been. So we've had 2 Democrats and 1 independent that have joined with Republicans to be able to say we've got to be able to reopen the government. So that's been a good thing to be able to see that movement already. We need about 5 more Democrats in the Senate that would cross over with the other 3 and say, okay, we need to get the government open. We need to have basic operations that are here. So that we're working through that. We've had several good conversations. They're saying that they want to vote on some key areas they want to be able to vote on. We've said, hey, we're a republic. We can vote on whatever we want to be able to vote on. But if you're demanding it has to be your way, America has spoken. They've elected a Republican House, a Republican Senate, a Republican president. So we're not going to cave to your demands to be able to give in to something the American people didn't vote for. But we are very willing to be able to have a vote because that's what this republic's all about. We have disagreements. We put them on the table. We vote them up or down, and then we keep moving. So with that is the biggest difference of opinion right now.
Understood. What else do you think American people are bothered on a Sunday morning? I mean, President Trump is doing a great job as far as world peace. And I guess the next challenge is Ukraine and Russia. If we could achieve that, then we really have world peace. Drugs in our country. I mean, President Trump has declared war on the drug lords. Where do we go?
Yeah, so there's obviously things happening around the world. I wish we lived in a peaceful utopian planet. We don't. There are evil people that do evil things around the world, and the president's been successful in getting the hostages out of Israel. We're still trying to be able to get the final hostage, those that are deceased, out of Israel, to be able to get them back home, back to their families. But it is a remarkable progress what's happening in the Middle East, and getting leaders that swore not to talk to each other, actually talking to each other and trying to engage in what that looks like long term. But you're right, there's a long way to go with Putin, who is a dictator thug, and he is determined he's going to dominate the entire region and be able to rebuild the old Soviet Union. And so he's taken several steps on that in the past decade and a half, and now his focus is on Ukraine to try to go back and retake it as it was in the old Soviet Union. Obviously, the Ukrainian people have no interest in that at all, and they're pushing back on it. The president's called this one of his most challenging tasks on that, to be able to get Putin to be able to stop actually attacking his neighbors. At the same time, you're exactly right. President Trump has an amazing ability to be able to multitask on issues all around the world. He's working on getting India to be able to buy Russian oil, which is funding the war in Ukraine, so he can put leverage on Putin. At the same time, he's putting leverage on Maduro in Venezuela to be able to stop pumping drugs into the United States and facilitating that. Maduro has had for a long time a bounty on his head. He is a known drug trafficker. He is one who is intentionally focused on trying to be able to push drugs into the United States. He is not the recognized leader of Venezuela, but he is a dictator that's taken it by force. And so it is important we continue to be able to maintain pressure on Maduro and on the drug smugglers to be able to make sure they're not pumping all this fentanyl into the United States to kill us and to destabilize us, but to also try to get finally a stable leader for the people of Venezuela. The millions of Venezuelans have left and fled all over the region, including coming to the United States, because of Maduro's thug tactics. So if a change happens there, those Venezuelans go home. It's a new stabilization for long-term for South America, and that's a big deal for the entire region. So proud of what President Trump's trying to do to be able to bring peace to different areas of the world, because that is a basic American value, that we are the United States of America. We want to be a good role model and example and help other people have the freedoms that we have.
Understood. And energy. It's a big item. Oklahoma is big on energy.
Yeah, we are.
Texas, your next-door neighbor, is big on energy. The previous administration had a war on energy. Is it finally straightened out? I mean, I see crude oil is down to the lowest it's been in a long time, down to $58 a barrel. I mean, how did we exist? How did the Democrats accept what President Biden was doing, or his administration was doing? I'm not sure President Biden knew what was happening, but.
Yeah, it's painful to be able to see, but there's a resurgence of energy around the country. And what's interesting, a lot of these tech companies years ago were saying, hey, we only want to buy wind energy. We only want to buy solar energy. Now they're saying, hey, we just need energy, because they realize there's not enough wind and solar energy to be able to run data centers and all these operations for AI. And so there's been a rush to say, hey, what's a reliable source of energy that's out there? And Oklahoma and other states have raised their hand and said the same one that actually brought America to be its most prosperous point in the entire world, that same source of fuel is still available. You're right, natural gas and oil are at some of their lowest levels in a very long time on it. We are awash in that energy source, and a lot of folks are still pursuing it. Natural gas, you remember back in the 1970s, Jimmy Carter was saying we were running out of natural gas, and we've got to shift to something else. Now we found so much natural gas that in some areas of the country, natural gas prices are actually negative at this point, because we have so much of it, we can't get enough of it into the pipelines to be able to move it. So that is very significant. Now, again, for the Northeast and for New York and some of the areas that have banned fracking and banned pipelines, energy prices remain high because elected leaders have said, no, we don't want that kind of energy. And what they're doing instead is getting a really expensive energy, while places like Oklahoma and Texas continue to be able to have very low-cost energy. More and more companies are moving to Texas. More and more companies are moving to Oklahoma because we have consistent, reliable, low-cost energy, and we have low taxation, and we have low regulation. So we're looking forward to, after the elections in New York City, more and more companies moving down to our region for low prices and freedom, quite frankly. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to produce the energy that America needs and that all these tech companies and others are actually looking for manufacturing.
And there is an exodus, and we're going to play the music Exodus in tomorrow's show, maybe. There's an exodus from the Northeast. There's an exodus from Illinois. There's an exodus from California. So... well, Senator Lankford, thank you for some Middle West common sense, and thank you. And I hope common sense is spreadable.
There are still sane places in America where Americans fly the flag and are proud to be Americans and are proud of where we're headed as a country. And we can always do better. We're working on being a more perfect union, so we've always got things to work on as Americans, but we're actually trying to be able to maintain our values at the same time. So come to Oklahoma. We'll teach you what it looks like to be an American.
We'll catch up with you again real soon. Thank you for your common sense again, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.